Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga Matchday 2. I'm very happy to see Alvaro Romeo again after Matchday 1, in which only Barcelona won. Among the favorites, Atlético and Real Madrid drew. Alvaro, hello.
Hello, Edu. It's a pleasure to be here again. It's a pleasure to see you again. I believe that you're having a terrific summer from what I have heard. And, I think that this is going to be a very exciting season in La Liga. The truth is that the start of it wasn't too great because there were 6 draws in 10 games. Many players still unregistered. The case of Getafe, for example, scoring a goal at 𝗻𝐵𝗻𝗀𝗀, a footballer who wasn't registered hours before the game. And many teams are like that. I wonder if this is good for 𝗻𝐵𝗻𝗀𝗀, if this is good for La Liga. Something to review maybe for the future. We don't even know if Dani Olmo is going to play this weekend or not because he's still unregistered. But I'm not going to have any sympathy for Barcelona. I think they have created their own issue, but teams that are working well and being very, very careful with their finances, they are still struggling to register players, and this is not looking good. Another thing is that La Liga maybe started too early. Many players who were playing the European Cup final or the Olympics finals weren't ready to start. I'm talking, for example, about Nico Williams, who only played 20 minutes as 𝗻𝐵𝗻𝗀𝗀 against Getafe. I'm talking about the likes of Fermín, who was an Olympic champion 5 days before La Liga started. And, maybe the calendar should take into consideration the health of the players. And one thing that was remarkable for me from the start of La Liga is that no team scored more than 2 goals. I don't know if this is going to be an indication for the future, that this is going to be a low-scoring tournament, but I do believe that Real Madrid, Atlético and Barcelona are going to be high-scoring sides. So hopefully this weekend we start seeing more goals.
Well, every team scored, but Espanyol is the only scoreless team in Matchday 2 already, and many draws, so it's good money if you are betting on draws. So remember, guys, to leave your comments and, of course, press the like. Now, let's go on with the show. Well, Matchday 2 starts on Friday, Alvaro, with 2 games. First one is Celta Valencia. We saw Celta not playing great, to be honest, against Alavés, but the important thing is that they won. 𝐬𝐭𝐴SPA's usual suspect scored the goal of the victory, the 2-1, whereas Valencia lost against Barcelona. We saw Valencia struggling at the end of last season. No big signings. Again, we know that Peter Lim doesn't want to spend money. I don't know if you see them, Alvaro, struggling much more this season and fighting against relegation, or being comfortable again, as we saw last season.
I think they are going to be comfortable for a couple of reasons. Number one, because at Mestalla, they can still grind out the results. And number two, because they've got a young squad that, thanks to their energy, is going to give them many points. So Valencia is going to stay competitive in games. The coach, Baraja, doesn't complain. And he thinks he's got this mentality. These are my tools. This is my owner. My owner doesn't spend any money, and this is what I got to do. So there is no risk that Baraja is going to say at the end of the transfer window, this is terrible, you haven't given me any signing, therefore I'm leaving. So yes, I think that Valencia is going to stay in La Liga. Celta, let's see. They finished the season very well with the current manager last season. They started great, beating Alavés with 𝐻𝐴SPA's scoring, also with 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, who has a very good scoring ratio for Celta in the scoring sheet as well. Strand Larsen has left. He was playing the other day against Arsenal for Bournemouth, but I still believe that Celta and Valencia shouldn't have problems to stay in La Liga, but they need to have a decent start. Valencia was competitive against Barcelona. This is what I like about them. The other day, they are playing with 2 strikers now, like Rafa Mir and Hugo Duro. None of them are my cup of tea. Hugo Duro maybe has a brighter future than Rafa Mir, who has been stagnant for 3 years at Sevilla. But playing with two number nines of that stature, I mean, I'm talking literally about stature because both are very tall, and two strikers who are quite fast because Rafa Mir and Hugo Duro are. I think Valencia has at least two decent weapons up front. So yeah, I think that they can score goals in their games. Look, Mamadashvili is the only thing. There is an offer from Liverpool, but it looks like he's going to go to Liverpool the next season and stay on loan this season, the Georgian goalkeeper, because Liverpool has a very good goalkeeper already. But for this game, I think the money would be in a double chance for Valencia. I think that what they did against Barcelona the other day wasn't too bad. That would pay 173. But stay with me because I think that there is money to make somewhere, not necessarily in this game.
All right, Celta struggled a lot the previous 2 seasons and they started well. Let's see how they developed after Rafa Benitez flop last season. On Friday, we have Sevilla, Villarreal. Very pessimistic, the supporters, the Sevilla supporters with the manager, with the team, with the squad. They started with a draw in Las Palmas with 𝗵𝗵𝗏 on the bench. I would say the opposite for Villarreal, full season for Marcelino, many changes in the squad, and they were very happy to grab a draw against Atlético de Madrid.
Yeah, absolutely. With 𝗵𝗏𝗏 playing well, a player that I don't understand why he wants to leave because he has never played football better than at Villarreal. With the exception maybe of some of his time at Bournemouth, but then he had different loan spells at Tottenham, at Everton, and he never offered the performances that he offered for Villarreal 2.5 seasons ago. So, maybe 𝗵𝗏𝗏 leaves. That's a possibility because he's got 2 years left in his contract and he's the kind of player that Villarreal can cash some money for. But if we put 𝗵𝗏𝗏 aside, I mean, it's great to have Yeremy Pino back after his bad injury. He missed the Euros, he missed the Olympics. He would have been at least in one of those competitions. Alex Baena, Olympic champion, Olympic star, we have to say, should be playing this time and should be playing maybe 90 minutes. And yeah, I like the squad of Villarreal. Many changes there. I think 14 players left, but no big players have left. And I think that they've got a decent team and a very good manager. So for this game, I'm not going to say that they are favorites. In fact, I'm going to stay in the goals market and I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals because Sevilla defensively is not great, Villarreal neither, and both of them, Sevilla, I can see them scoring at home, and Villarreal, I think that they've got the firepower to score too. Over 2.5 goals, 181, and when it comes to Sevilla, very quickly, one of their most competent footballers has left this week. I'm talking about Marcos 𝗵𝗏𝗏, the left back who left to River Plate. I don't know what Víctor Horta is doing. I really don't know. I don't like this sporting director. I say that many times. He's got an affair with the Premier League, on an erotic dream with the Premier League market, and that's pointless for Sevilla because you are getting players who are on a very good salary because they play on the Premier League. You cannot get a lot of revenue for them in a potential sale. And, I don't know if 𝗍𝐿𝐴 𝐻𝐿 is going to be that footballer who will make a massive difference for Sevilla as a number 9, for example, but I don't think so. Saúl will get his first start. That's a clever signing on loan for Sevilla, but the Saúl of 2019 is not the Saúl of 2024. So let's see how it goes. Over 2.5 goals, 181.
In my opinion, Saúl is finished, but I heard also good things about Saúl and his transfer on loan to Sevilla. Time will say if it was a clever signing or not. Let's see. Well, next game, Osasuna, Mallorca. We have Arrasate back to Pamplona. His debut with Mallorca was very positive. They grabbed a draw against Real Madrid. They could have won. Even that game, we saw a great Mojica, we saw 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, usual suspect, scoring from set pieces. Mallorca played really well against Real Madrid after Javier Aguirre left and Arrasate arrived. And Osasuna, I would say, is the opposite, Alvaro, a draw against Leganés at home, but A bit disappointing. We almost saw a great goal, by the way, by Brian Zaragoza, the star signing of Osasuna.
Yeah, the star signing, of course, he still belongs to Bayern. I think that he doesn't have the level to play at Bayern. However, for a team like Osasuna, he can be a player equivalent to what 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗲 was a couple of seasons ago for them. I think that he is good enough to be in La Liga. He is good enough to be at this level, and he's very entertaining to watch. And maybe him going to the Spanish national side a year ago was too premature. But still, he's going to be one of the most interesting players Osasuna has. Look, Osasuna drew with Leganés, Mallorca drew with Real Madrid. I know that Mallorca normally tends to make it very difficult for Real Madrid, even with an extra level of aggression that sometimes I don't welcome, like for example, Maffeo with Vinicius. But I think that this game could be a draw, and the draw is pretty decent. The money is good. Mallorca, with Arrasate, former Osasuna manager, has the tools to get a point at Osasuna ground. So I'm going to go for a draw. 3.1. The money is pretty decent, and this game smells of a draw to me.
Indeed, next game, Alvaro, the best game this match day is Barça Athletic Club. Of course, Nico Williams is going to be in the spotlight. Everyone at Barcelona saw him in Camp Nou or in Barcelona this season, but Nico Williams is staying at San Mamés with Athletic. Bad debut for Athletic, drawing at home against Getafe. There is something, I guess, Alvaro, after winning the Copa del Rey final and trophy, Athletic relaxed last season, and they have to catch up and be competitive again, as they were for the whole season last year. For Barcelona, I would say a very positive debut for Hansi Flick. Many youngsters still. The market is very weird for Barcelona, letting go Gundogan, one of the best players of the team, if not the best last season. And again, Flick looks like he's going to do what the club says. He says that this is what it is. He cannot do anything, and he is betting and gambling on the youngsters. Probably a good choice for the club and for Hansi Flick.
Yeah, well, I think that Bernal and 𝗍𝗏𝗏 played really well at Valencia. Hansi Flick was brave to play them both. I remember that last season, I know that this is a bit of a populist comment, right? Because Bernal and 𝗍𝗏𝗏 were some months younger, and when you are that young, being 17 or 18 makes a big difference to compete in the top flight. But last season, Xavi ended up playing with Christensen as a holding midfielder. And Hansi Flick the other day didn't use Christensen as a holding midfielder. He decided to go for youngsters, and the thing worked for Barcelona. And number one, I always like Hansi Flick. I think that his Bayern was a power force back at the beginning of this decade. In 2020, even in 2021, Bayern was for me the best team in Europe, better than Chelsea and Manchester City. But Bayern got kicked out from the Champions League by Paris Saint-Germain, something that should have never happened. Hansi Flick won't be as scrutinized in the press conference as Xavi was. I think that Hansi Flick is also more astute and more clever with his answers than Xavi. Xavi was never, in my opinion, comfortable with the role, or never totally comfortable. Hansi Flick is gonna be. And, the Gundogan thing is an affair that I don't like. I mean, if you get a player for free a year ago, why should you sell him? I mean, Gundogan wants to stay. Gundogan was the best player of the season for Barcelona last season. And, Barcelona will lose quality if Ilkay Gundogan is leaving, in my opinion. And what kind of message do you send? I mean, look at the players who Barcelona brought for free over the last years. Memphis Depay, he lasted in Barcelona a year and a half. Íñigo Martínez. This summer, they were talking about selling him just to make some money. He came on a free last year. Ilkay Gundogan. So are these players, or are these players only currency for you? You get them for free and then you sell them. That's not good. And the message you are sending to potential arrivals is that if you come to Barcelona, anything can happen to you, no matter the performance. We can even sell you. That said, I believe that if Barcelona recovers all the players that are injured, Barcelona has a very good squad. I do believe that. I think that the players show this summer for Spain, both in the Olympics and in the Euros. I'm talking about Fermín, I'm talking about Yamal and many more, even 𝗵𝗏𝗍, that are good. I think that some of the foreigners at Barcelona are excellent as well, and if not excellent, at least competent, like Lewandowski. So I think Barcelona has not such a good squad as Real Madrid, of course not, but a good squad. And I really hope that Hansi Flick uses it to the fullest of its potential for this game. I think that Athletic Club Bilbao is going to pay a little bit for the absences, especially Galarreta in midfield. Unai Simon is not there, but Padilla played really well for Getafe, against Getafe. But I think Barcelona is going to win it. Never easy at Montjuic. Let's don't forget that they are not playing at Camp Nou yet, and that last season was a factor. But still, I think at this time they are going to win it. They are favorite. The money for them to win is good enough. Almost 170. I'm going to keep it. And then maybe if you want to add something to the odds, Barcelona to win and over 1.5 goals in the game. So basically Barcelona win it, but not 1-0. That pays 183.
They say that by Christmas, Barcelona should go back to Camp Nou, still undecided, still not sure. Great game, this Barça Athletic Madrid derby. Next one, Getafe Rayo Vallecano. Positive start for both teams. Getafe with a draw in San Mamés. Bordalás always doing magic with his team, with his short squad. Rayo Vallecano, one, or I think is the team with higher age average in this La Liga, very experienced team, and they grab a win in San Sebastián in the Real Arena. Big surprise with 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 scoring the second goal, the hero of the Olympics final, Álvaro.
Well, it has been probably the best week of 𝐻𝐚𝐽's life, I would say. Right? I mean, he scored 2 goals in the Olympic final. By the way, the goals were very beautiful. I think that he did things that I wasn't sure that he was going to be able to do, because 𝐻𝐚𝐽 has been always a very, very low scorer in La Liga, and suddenly he turned up in the Olympic final, he scored the brace. He turned up at Real Arena the other day and he scored the goal as well. So, perhaps this is the catalyzing moment that 𝐻𝐚𝐽 needed in his career, just to start, delivering the numbers that strikers should deliver. This game, I'm going to go all out for Getafe. Getafe playing at home in a Madrid derby. A draw no bet for Getafe. 170 is good enough for me. Getafe to win, I could be ready to go up there for Getafe to win 250. And I know that Borja Mayoral is injured, but 𝗀𝐻𝐿 the other day at San Mamés, he filled the boots of Borja Mayoral, more or less. Bordalás at home tends to get good results against this type of sides. And Bordalás, you said that he played his magic. He always plays his magic at San Mamés. Do you remember when Valencia eliminated Athletic Club Bilbao from the Spanish Cup? It was Bordalás, the manager of Valencia, and Athletic Club Bilbao couldn't find a way to beat his Valencia. Getafe the other day was even better than Athletic, at least at some periods of the game. And yeah, I'm going to back them. I'm going to back Getafe with a draw no bet, potentially going up for a win for Getafe.
We love Bordalás in this show. Benjamin Button as well, getting younger and younger every day. Bordalás.
Have you seen his new hairstyle?
No, actually no.
He looks even younger.
Yeah, well,
it's incredible.
He did a good comeback, probably in Turkey or something like that. I will ask him how he did it. Next game, Álvaro, Espanyol Real Sociedad. The only team scoreless in La Liga is Espanyol in their comeback to Primera División. They are not very optimistic in this comeback in La Liga. Last season they struggled a lot in Segunda División to get promoted. They reached the goal, but they didn't strengthen the team. They are very likely to lose the goalkeeper, so problems for Espanyol really early, and for Real Sociedad, as we just said, Álvaro, not the best start, losing at home against Rayo Vallecano in a very, very bad game.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about Real Sociedad, because for me, they have been one of the best run teams in La Liga in the last 6-7 years, to the point that a couple of years ago, for the first time in a long time, they hit better financial numbers than Athletic Club Bilbao in terms of wealth, which is very uncommon in the Basque Country. Normally, Athletic Club Bilbao is the rich club of the Basque Country. Well, Real Sociedad got to that level, and they are in that level. And 𝗲𝗏𝗿𝗏 as a sporting director, plus Imanol Alguacil as a manager, have been doing a great job. They work as a tandem, and Real Sociedad has been qualifying for Europe for the last 4 or 5 years. Last season, they were competitive in the Champions League. But I wonder if the Imanol method is a little bit it's a little bit outdated now for Real Sociedad. I don't know if his message gets to the team as well as it was getting years ago. I wonder, and I want to wait and see, because Real Sociedad has been making the same mistakes for about a year now. And, I think that we have put that on Imanol a little bit too. And then 𝗲𝗏𝗿𝗏, who does everything in the offices for Real Sociedad, hasn't been able to sign players over the last 2 years that improve significantly the starting lineup, with only one exception. I'm talking about Brais Méndez. So, over there, Real Sociedad has made mistakes with the signings, especially last season. Let's see how Javi López, Sergio Gómez, and Sušić work this year, because those 3 signings are going to be capital for Real Sociedad to stay competitive in 2 competitions at the same time. If Mikel Merino leaves, it's going to be bad for Real Sociedad, because Mikel Merino is going to go for a price tag of 30, and I don't think that you can get a player of that quality in the market for that money. But at least Beñat Turrientes, a player who is an Olympic champion, has shown that he's ready to start for Real Sociedad. He was the MVP of the game, for example, against Rayo Vallecano the other day. And when it comes to Espanyol, look, Espanyol is a victim of the current La Liga situation. I mean, a player can leave, like Joan Garcia, the goalkeeper, because the market is still not closed. Then financial instability, even though they came back to La Liga. So let's wait and see. But for me, Real Sociedad is slightly favorite in this game, because Espanyol was scoreless in the first game of La Liga, and Real Sociedad, well, losing 2 games in a row is not something so common maybe for them. And they have the know-how to beat a team like Espanyol. So I'm going to back them, Real Sociedad, with an Asian handicap minus 0.25. So if they draw, you will only suffer half a lose, but if they win, you get your whole money. Asian handicap minus 0.25 for them, 185.
All right, next game on Sunday, Real Madrid, Valladolid. Really poor debut in La Liga for defending champions Real Madrid, especially the second half was very poor. They could have lost that game against Mallorca. Ancelotti didn't make any changes in the starting lineup from the European Super Cup. The changes arrived also really late, the substitutions in the game. He was criticized because of that, because we wanted to see Arda Güler, we wanted to see Brahim, and it looks like the 3 up front were a bit disconnected, a little bit of problems in midfield, of course, missing Toni Kroos, and this is going to be the first game of 𝗵𝗵𝗏 at Santiago Bernabéu. He was close to score, by the way. In Mallorca, Valladolid, Álvaro, perfect comeback to Primera División with this 1-0 win against Espanyol.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that Valladolid will, if they stay in La Liga, be tremendously reliant on what happens at their arena. So good luck to them. I want to wait and see to see how good they are. I mean, the newly promoted sides, we know them: Espanyol, Leganés, and Valladolid. And Valladolid got a very good win. Espanyol, for example, as we spoke in the previous game, they weren't able to be competitive in the last game. Valladolid was, but I think that Valladolid are going to suffer here, because Santiago Bernabéu is going to be full. It's still summer. There is a great expectation to watch the new star Kylian Mbappé, and normally Real Madrid delivers on these afternoons or on these nights, afternoon in this case. So I think Real Madrid are going to win easily. The bookmakers think the same. In fact, Real Madrid to win the second half pays 138. For example, Real Madrid to win pays around 115 right now. So you have to find or look for the value somewhere else, even though Real Madrid wasn't perfect against Mallorca. And Carlo Ancelotti sent a clear message, and he was hitting out at the attitude of the team. A team that is totally changed by 2 facts. Number one, Kylian Mbappé is there, which means that Real Madrid has another star in the mix, but Toni Kroos is gone. That means that somebody will have to take over or try to do what Toni Kroos was doing. And maybe that player is Jude Bellingham, but how can you explain to Jude Bellingham, a player who scored over 20 goals last season, that he will have to play 20 meters farther back than he played last season in order to help the team? You know, it's a difficult balance over there. I'm pretty sure that Carlo Ancelotti is going to find an answer, because he always has done it. But, you know, until Real Madrid adjusts, we may see Real Madrid having a couple of maybe disappointing performances and yet them winning, because they've got so much talent that they are going to win many games pretty much by default. And I think that this is going to be one of them. And I think that the money would be in Real Madrid scoring over 1.5 goals in the second half. I know that it sounds like too much, but I think that as soon as Real Madrid scores the first one, maybe the likes of Mbappé, Vinicius, Rodrigo, competing with each other, by the way, and trying to please Santiago Bernabéu, have a terrific second half together. Because when they click, they will click properly. So Real Madrid to score over 1.5 goals in the second half, 170. And yeah, Mbappé to score. I don't know what the money for that is yet. I haven't found the odds, but they must be in the region of 1.6 to 1.8. I will back that. I mean, he scored against Atalanta, and at Santiago Bernabéu, he's going to be eager to please the fans.
Last visit of Valladolid to Santiago Bernabéu was 6-0 2 seasons ago. Actually, the manager was sacked back then, and Benzema scored a hat-trick. I was thinking this week how good Benzema would have played with Mbappé and Vinicius, but this is not possible, of course, but it would be the perfect number 9 for Real Madrid to match with these players. Well, next game also in Madrid, Leganés, Unión Deportiva Las Palmas, two teams that are going to be in the bottom half of the standings fighting against relegation. Both started La Liga with a draw, and we already saw a different Las Palmas with García Pimienta. The goals were very few, to be honest, and they scored 2 against Sevilla, and even Sandro scored, which is a big surprise, Alvaro.
Well, yeah, because the old Sandro, the one who had a terrific season for Malaga, hasn't been able to replicate his form anywhere. Let's see what Las Palmas is about this season. I still believe that they've got a nice to watch squad, but a little bit toothless, despite having scored 2 goals in the first game of the season. Leganés, I want to wait and see. To start with, they lost the Golden Glove of the second division last season. They lost that player to Villarreal, and that obviously affects the team a little bit. Let's see how the new goalkeeper, Juan Soriano, plays with his new defense. But yeah, this game, to be honest, is a pass for me, because I haven't seen enough of Leganés. Last season in Segunda, they were very good defensively, especially. But I want to see how their landing is in La Liga. They're playing at home, true, and this is a factor that we have to take into consideration. And Las Palmas, with the new manager, also, I want to wait and see, because what García Pimienta was doing was quite special, because he played in a very certain way and quite distinct way. And the new manager, I don't know if he'll be able to transform the team from what García Pimienta was doing last season to his style so quickly. So this game for me is a pass. Let's wait and see. And, you know, maybe in the future I have a bigger judgment about Leganés and Las Palmas.
All right, Leganés to win 2.4 favorites, Las Palmas to win 3.5. Last season they were very poor playing away. Let's see this Leganés Las Palmas. Later on we have Alavés Betis. Alavés lost to Celta. They did a great job last season, saved very early with Luis García on the bench. Let's see if this season they are gonna struggle. Betis on the other side, they are working to get Vitor Roque on loan from Barcelona. I cannot see them making a great season. I think they've lost quality over the summer. What do you think, Alvaro?
Well, let's wait. I mean, Betis depends a lot on what Isco does. That's for sure. Isco could return this weekend, but anyway, how is his form going to be like? Sometimes muscular injuries can be terrible. Isco suffered a muscular injury back in April. He to travel with, and look at him at the end of August. So he got a very bad injury. But yeah, I can see what you are saying. I mean, under Pellegrini, Betis has been good. If we take the point tally of Pellegrini, it's a very good point tally. I mean, every season Betis has finished among the top 7, top 6, and they won a cup in 2022, so the numbers are there. But maybe with Betis, the thing is that right now they haven't signed any player who can take them to the next level or they haven't done any significant signing, but it's a team that looks like Pellegrini in many ways. For example, in the central channels, they've got plenty of players with a good taste for the ball. I'm talking about the new arrival, Marc Roca, for example. I'm talking about Diego Llorente, who is a centre back who knows how to play the ball. I'm talking about Pablo Fornals, who plays on the wing, but we know that he's rather a midfielder or a number 10. So they got players with a lot of quality, but then maybe they don't have a big plan B, big striker, for example, to play in the last minutes. Really good wingers. 𝐿𝐭𝐴 Pérez left, a player who was very good last season for a ridiculous amount, by the way, 4 million to Villarreal. That was his release clause. So from Betis, I can expect them being maybe as good as last season, but I don't think that they have what needed to take it to the next level. But Alavés and Betis, they will display two projects with continuity this season, with Alavés keeping their manager. Alavés last season was super reliant on their performances at Mendizorroza. That was the key for Alavés to stay in La Liga. And the manager is a very good manager, Luis García Plaza, who knows exactly what he wants from his players. Alavés hasn't changed significantly, but one player has left, 𝗂𝗏𝗻𝗻𝗀𝗻, and he was giving so much to Alavés last season. That's the only thing for me. Will Alavés replace 𝗂𝗏𝗻𝗻𝗀𝗻, or will they play a full season with a striker like Quique García, who obviously we know that he's a good deputy number 9, but him as the main focal point of Alavés can be a little bit short for Alavés as the season goes by. Anyway, I do believe that Alavés will be very similar to the last season. Last season at home, they got many good results. So I'm going to go for a draw, no bet for them here, 173.
And the last game is going to be Atlético de Madrid, Girona, first game at the Metropolitano. We know that Atlético are very strong at home, but when they play away, they had trouble last season, and in their debut in Villarreal, they were poor defensively, especially again with many giving out goals in defense. We saw Sorloth scoring his first goal, also substituted and changed by Simeone. We saw some minutes of Julián Álvarez, Girona Álvaro. A point against Betis is going to be a different season for sure from Girona. They lost so much quality over the summer. They have the Champions League, and I'm curious to see teams like Girona, like Bologna, like Stuttgart, like Brest playing in the Champions League, and then in La Liga. It's going to be very tough for them.
No, and it's very good that you mention all those sides, because come on, look at Calafiori left to Arsenal. Girona lost Alex Garcia and Artem Dopvik, who the other day was scoreless for Roma, but he already had a few chances and he saw a good connection with Paulo Dybala at Cagliari. So, for Girona, this is going to be a challenging season. They have signed players that they are still to prove their level. I'm talking, for example, about Bryan Gil, who in La Liga, in all fairness, played very well for Eibar back in the day, and not so well for Sevilla. Donny van de Beek is a player who needs to recover his form because he's been gone and disappeared for 3 years. Let's see. The other day, a player that I didn't know of, like 𝗵𝗍𝗍, scored a goal for Girona, and after just literally coming out on the pitch and stepping on the pitch, he scored a goal. But when they asked Mitchell about this footballer, he said that he's got a lot to learn yet. So, it's a little bit of a makeshift team. I think at Girona, one thing that they are not going to relinquish It's their style. They've been always daring, and Mitchell only knows this way. And I believe that Girona this season are going to be very entertaining again, but maybe they are not going to be at the winning side. The Girona games are very likely to be both teams to score this season, in my opinion, because Girona will attack, but then they have lost Savinho as well. Probably Savinho is the best player they had last season, and he's gone to Manchester City. And the other day, he played so well for Manchester City. Those are difficult players to replace. But anyway, they drew with Betis. That wasn't too bad at the end of the day. And when it comes to Atlético de Madrid, it's a team in formation. I think that the signings are decent. Sorloth, I changed my opinion about him. 2 years ago, I was slandering him for his performances for Real Sociedad, but what he did last season for Villarreal was very good. And he scored the other day. He offers Atlético the physicality and the certain speed, because Sorloth is not that slow. Julián Álvarez is a terrific signing. Probably he will start this time. The best news for Atlético is that João Félix is going to go finally, because Simeone didn't want him there. He didn't want to be there. He's leaving to Chelsea. Gallagher is going to provide a lot of energy, and Simeone was looking for energy in midfield. But Atlético is still missing a holding midfielder. As much as I like Pablo Barrios, I think that he is not the player to keep that position for Atlético. Atlético needs a bigger, more referential player in that position. Anyway, for this game, I think that it's going to be the best game of the week. I really believe so, with Atlético having to please the fans. Both teams to score 170. I see that happening. Otherwise, over 2.5 goals, 165.
All right, Álvaro, let's finish this summer video with your best bet for this weekend.
Yeah, it will be Real Madrid to win and over 1.5 goals in that game against Valladolid, altogether 152.
All right, and ACCA, you are famous all over the internet for your ACCAs, Álvaro. Show us the
I have to say that I got a very, very astute ACCA during the Euros with individual market. It went up to 15. Anyway, you can check the previous videos, but my ACCA this time, plain and simple. I'm going to stay with Real Madrid and Barcelona only this time. Real Madrid to score over 1.5 goals in the second half. Barcelona to win and over 1.5 goals in the game against Athletic de Bilbao. Altogether 305.
We have another La Liga video on Monday because we have midweek games in La Liga. This is non-stop even if we are in August. So see you very soon, Álvaro. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.